Go. Alrighty.
I was right. It's steamy. And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock. It is Sunday, April 28th. I am Josh Engleman. I'm joined by Eric Lindquist. We are brought to you by Prize Picks. Hold on. By Prize Picks. I'm just wearing all the gear. Prize Picks underwear, Prize Picks pants, Prize Picks socks. They even made shoes and sent them to me. I have those on as well.
Prize Picks the flamethrower. The kids will love this one.
Exactly. 4 games today, 1 o'clock, 3:30, 7, and 9:30. We got basketball all day. Get excited, everybody. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live, and follow us both on Twitter. What's good, man? How's your weekend?
It's good. I went to a horse show yesterday with my wife and my mother-in-law. It's like the week before the Kentucky Derby, they do jumping, like an exhibition thing at this riding club. My mother-in-law's ridden horses her entire life. And so it's just an event to basically show up, get really, really drunk, and watch other people do very difficult things with massive 1,200-pound horses. And it was probably the best ensemble because like sometimes you go and there's always like a couple of amateurs that join the competition because anybody can do it. If you have a horse and $450, you can jump in this competition. And there's always some people who suck and people who miss rails and whatever else. Like 21 people competed this year, and only I think 7 people missed a rail in their first run, which is like unheard of. It was an unbelievable thing to watch. And so with the Olympics coming up and stuff, it got me thinking, can I gamble on horse jumping? Is that something? Because I feel like I'm going to get into this now because it was just like insane to witness that kind of like, I don't know, it's like watching a really good golfer. If that's your thing, like for me, I've never been into horse jumping, but like it definitely has me excited to maybe gamble on obscure things in the Olympics.
Well, considering all I hear about from my wife is horse-related information, I don't appreciate you bringing it to my work as well. I can't get away from horses. I can't get away from it.
I didn't know she was into it.
Oh, yeah. We have a horse.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, she rides all the time.
How do I not know that?
Yeah. We have a horse. Derby Day honors. I call him Draymond Brown. Yeah.
Great.
No jokes. Dead serious.
Does she jump? Does she compete?
Yeah. No jumping. It's more, I couldn't even explain it if I wanted to. More boots on the ground stuff. Like how pretty is your horse type stuff.
Yep, pretty the walk around, have somebody help usher it and you know, kick it.
Run down one side, then come back with water in a glass, and then you know, don't spill the water. That kind of stuff.
Wild. Yeah, I had no idea.
I know this much about it. So
okay. Well, I mean, for me, it was just like something random that I did yesterday that I don't think is like the norm. But had an absolute blast witnessing it, watching it. I wouldn't want to do it every day, I can tell you that, but it was really, really fun for a day before the Kentucky Derby, and we'll be able to witness Ben's greatness. I went to Santa Anita, and he hit all winners for me when I went and bet. So
nice.
I said, hey, find some horses for me. And he just went W the entire way. So that made me look really cool.
That's his scene, man. That's his scene.
Yeah. It's going to be fun this week.
All right. Well, as much as I would imagine people want to hear more about our horse informations, we probably should talk a little bit about the basketball games that are getting played today.
It's party.
I'm very, very, very nervous about everything that I'm exposed to. So this should be a pretty fun conversation. You ready?
Yep. All set.
All right, pay up options, folks. Buckle up. Here we go. Luka Doncic, the most expensive option for today, 11,800. Joel Embiid, 10,500. Let's include Brunson at 94, Edwards at 89, Halliburton at 87. That seems like a pretty clean line in the sand. Do you have a preferred pay up option? Because I do.
I'm chasey now. I feel so chasey, but it is what it is. It's Joel Embiid now at 10.5. He's projected for north of 60, and center, you have Gobert and Turner there. You have around Luka, at least Brunson, Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, a lot of point guards that are easier to fill into lineups, but we've got an 18% Joel Embiid. I'm worried that after the nuke that he dropped, and I know he was your highest own that you had in your ensemble on Friday, I'm a little bit worried that we get crazy ownership here that's not necessarily something that we're able to go out and project, but I think Joel Embiid, 38, 40 minutes, hard not to really Really like that under the circumstances. And then just positional scarcity amongst guys that are projected for 40 plus, where we have lots of point guards to mix in. We have like 0 centers.
Joel Embiid is in 68% of my lineups right now.
Yeah, he's in half of mine and probably going to be more.
I love it. Just 10-5 is not the right price. I think Luka is too expensive relative to Embiid for like that dynamic. And Jalen Brunson, Edwards, Halliburton, we're not even talking about the same thing when it comes to a per minute dude. I find it very, very easy to get to Embiid. Whether Mitchell Robinson's playing or not, don't really care. This is the pay up option. They're down 2-1. They're at home again. It looked great. I mean, he dropped the 50 burger last time out. I would have preferred him to have a little bit more rest, but at the same time, I expect 38 minutes plus. And if he's going to be out there for 38 minutes, like as long as he doesn't get hurt, I don't even know what a floor game looks like for Embiid at this point. The Knicks would have to beat them by 30.
I think one of the things that's hard to remember because the season takes forever and we're constantly assessing this, and like Embiid was playing at the best clip of anybody in the NBA with the highest fantasy point per minute rate in the entire NBA for like the first month and a half. He was outrageous. And you go to dunks and threes and they have the EPM for like just mapping players. The estimated plus minus on Joel Embiid is north of plus 10. The next guy is SGA sitting there like in the middle, 8.8. So 10.5 for Joel Embiid. He's got nearly a 65% true shooting on the season. He's shooting 39% from three. He's got a 31.5% assist percentage, 26.7% defensive rebound rate. And he goes from 33.5 to like 38.5 minutes, 39 minutes for me. Across the board, just doing absurd, ridiculous things. And there's just no reason that now that we've seen the minutes ramp up and now that we've seen the production ramp up, like I know it's a terrible matchup and we've got to take some of that fantasy point per minute rate down, but he looks incredible at 10-5.
Couldn't agree more. My problem is I'm basically not getting anybody else at the top. I have 4% of Luka. He's projected for 13% ownership. I have 10% of Jalen Brunson. That matches the field. I don't have a single share of Anthony Edwards. That scares me. And then we've got Halliburton projected for 22% ownership. I have 4. I'm finding it very difficult to pay up for anything other than Embiid.
So you're just jamming Maxey.
I am jamming Chris Middleton.
There you go. Your boy is back in your life. How does it feel?
It would have felt a lot better in game 3 when he smashed and I had one lineup with him.
Oh, well.
So now that I'm going to have 58% of my lineups with him, I assume Chris Middleton is going to roll his ankle again and give me 8 fantasy points because that's how this works.
That's the spirit. Happy Sunday,
I do have
everybody.
Maxey. I'm actually 2xing Durant as well.
Okay. Yeah, Durant is going to be somebody that fits easier into lineups. Again, point guard for me, I'm playing a lot of Tyrese Maxey and find it pretty easy to kind of spread it around to, I mean, we'll talk about all the Bucks options, but now that we have Malik Beasley in our lives, I feel like there's going to be some pivots that I'm trying to make. Chris Middleton, definitely the guy that I feel the most confident you should just be jamming from Milwaukee. Bobby Portis, I think, is pretty unavoidable, at least in an allotment of lineups. Whether or not you want to be playing 57% of the holding hands with 57% of the field, that's a different conversation. But Beverly, Middleton, all of these guys relative to it, Middleton's definitely my favorite to be getting to.
You want your boy Edwards here? Because he's pulling no ownership.
No, I don't. I hate it. I like watching him pump the air and just, I hope he goes completely ballistic, but 8,900, I don't think that he's going to be that. With Karl Anthony Towns starting to get an increase to minutes, that's the other thing too. We're starting to see him play like 24, 28 the first 2 games of the series, something ridiculously low like that. And as you start to have more minutes for Cat on the floor, it's going to cut into what that ceiling is for Anthony Edwards. I know that we're also concerned about floor. We're also concerned about those type of things, but like up here at the top of the range above 8K, I feel like you still need to get some pieces right because there's just so many pieces that exist here in the range. So with Karl Anthony Towns playing more, getting up to 30 minutes eventually, we're going to see that come down for him. blowout scripts a little bit where 24-24 Nickeil Alexander-Walker's played ridiculously well. We're going to see him play 30, 32 in a competitive spot, and I just don't want to be jamming Ant in those spots.
Yeah, I don't have a single share of him, which scares me because obviously he could just take over. Phoenix could go 1-2-3 Cancun and pack it in, and all of a sudden, it's just over. And
Was
Philly and
that the
Phoenix
best
doesn't care.
Charles Barkley rant of all time, the Galveston, Texas one?
It's pretty good.
It might be my favorite Charles Barkley rant because, like, he can't do the fat ladies from San Antonio anymore, which, was obviously for those who know as good as it gets. But like that dirty water, the Galveston, Texas dirty water. I couldn't believe it. When you hear
he's wild,
everybody
man.
cracking up in the background at TNT in Atlanta, you know that you hit gold with it.
It's incredible. But he's the one that makes me the most nervous. And it's not just because I have zero, but it's like because no one has him either. And you just see what that path can be if Phoenix packs it in, Minnesota wins by 20, Edwards does most of it in 3/4. Like, I see it, but I don't know how to get to him with all these other dudes around him. I just don't.
I'm excited for the Suns off season.
Well, it's basically already over, unless one of Durant or Booker is not going to be on the team any longer, because that's their only move.
It's one of the two. One of the two has to go. You can't have the two softest dudes in the NBA be your best two players. So it is what it is.
I'd be very curious to see what they could get for Durant.
A lot more than I think they'll get for Booker.
No, but they could have whatever they want for Booker.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess just age.
Booker's three or four picks, 3 or 4 swaps, real salary. Yeah. But Booker's they can get whatever they want for Booker. They can get pretty much, they can get a couple assets back for Durant, but you got to find the team too.
Yeah, that's true.
Will be fun. Be fun to see. All right, let's hit the rest of this 8K range then. We have Siakam at 8,400, pulling about 20% ownership. Kyrie at 83, Booker at 82, Durant at 81, Maxey at 8K. I'm going to stop it there because I think Chris Middleton doesn't really need that much conversation. Doesn't seem like we're going to have Dame and Giannis here. Chris Middleton priced at 7,900. Just going to get a lot done, 37% owned. What do you like in this low 8K range? Because only Durant, I'm getting over the field on Durant. I'm neutral for everybody else.
I feel like the Kyrie Irving whisperer at this point in time, but we're going to see low ownership on him again. We came off of game 1. We got him sub 10%, jammed him. He has meteoric ceiling game. Then game 2, he ends up with like double the ownership of projected. He ends up failing. Game 3, meh. Like, now the shooting guard positionality, that's kind of the thing that I keep pointing to up here. We have tons of point guards to be getting to. We have Chris Middleton at small forward and Pascal Siakam, small forward, power forward. And if you really wanted it at 8,900, I find it more difficult to get to. But I love getting to the Kyrie Irving piece if he's going to be low owned again today at 8,300. And I think he is. So this is just one of those calculated, I'll go double the field just about every single time in these kind of situations. Because Kyrie, we see the minutes ramp up too. Like that's what it is that everybody's playing like these top end ceiling minutes that's 7K above, besides Cat, of course. But now it's just like, well, positionality matters too. And that's where Kyrie find him pretty easy to fit into lineups there. Paul George, he's under-owned, but 7,600 less appealing with everybody back, the entire band together there. James Harden, point guard, Kawhi, not going to be for me here today. That shooting guard positionality is just kind of glaring to me. So hand build out some lineups where it's like, oh, well, obviously I'll play Kyrie here. Oh, I can mix him into more of my portfolio. So I have 22% of him and kind of like that one.
Okay. He's basically my Durant then. Like I've got 28% of Durant in this sort of same ownership tier. Looks like he's the guy that's getting picked for me, but I'm neutral on Booker, neutral on Maxey, 58% of Chris Middleton at this point. So I have very little to add there. A little bit of Siakam, but nothing too crazy. It really is just me getting all of the Joel Embiid at the top, and it's really changing everything else that I could really get to. Because I've got some pretty big stands further down the list. In terms of payoffs, it's Embiid and Middleton ruling the roost, the top end. Oh, God, I hate this Bucks game, man. I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh, you don't want to play AJ Green today? Join the AJ Green party.
Right now, I have 0.
Okay.
I don't feel great.
22 minutes.
I don't know who's going to play. I have no idea.
That's the point. I think Beasley, the more you've talked to me about Beasley, the more I'm convinced that somehow, some way, this guy is either going to put up 40 or 0. And it just depends on how much of him I decide to have.
I think they only have one option today. I think they have to treat it like the Heat did game 2 in Boston and just look, we're just going to go out
Yep.
there. We're not going to be able to defend. Let's just shoot
Yep.
the shit out of the ball for the next 48 minutes and hope variance is on our side. And if that's the case, like you want Beasley out there just heaving. Just get him up as much as you can because that's going to be your best option right now. Anybody gets an open look from 3, you want it. Whether that's AJ Green, whether that's Malik Beasley, probably not Pat Connaughton, but he's certainly going to play enough for it to, or I would imagine, play enough for it. I have no idea what they're going to do with Jay Crowder. We'll hit on all of these dudes for the Bucks. Do you want to touch on anything else for the payups? Should we talk about
What are you
Luka
doing
at
with
11?
Pascal? What?
Should we talk about Luka? Like that's so much salary.
I'm always kind of I will get to Luka if I can, and I do think that the amount of Luka you have should be directly proportional to how many risks you're taking with Milwaukee. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to be playing a lot of Luka, your only path to, I think, finding tournament winning upside of like being overweight to Luka, like if he fits in your regular portfolio and you're mixing and matching sweep, but like you better be making a pretty calculated stand on a Pat Connaughton, on an AJ Green, on a Malik Beasley, on a Jay Crowder. Like there's got to be something else that you're playing along for the ride that you get so right that it makes up the difference. Because like if you're able to do that, awesome. But whenever we talk about Luka on regular slates from like a month ago, I think I just try to make it a point to bring it up nonstop that it's all relative to the chalk, all relative to the cheap pieces and options that we have. There's a reason Luka would be 50, 55% owned on certain slates and then, put up 100 against Josh sometimes. But there's a reason that at 11-8, he just doesn't fit into lineups as you're in the Sims tool. There's a reason he's just not showing up. Like I have 8% of him, but I don't even I'm looking at these lineups in the Sims and it's pretty thin value across the entire board. I have one Luka Embiid lineup that it's like AJ Green, Pat Connaughton, Patrick Beverly. Like what a time to be alive. I don't love that kind of construction today when we have such a strong 8K range where everybody's playing 38 plus minutes and you're going to have something there.
Yeah. I hate this. I hate it all so much. You know what I don't hate though? Ace of Spades. We got a super chat. Bet you can guess what it is.
No.
Gonna be tiers, folks. Get it ready. Tier 1. This one pretty cut and dry. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, technically Damian Lillard, but probably not going to count him. That's going to be Embiid.
Yeah, what are we doing here? Why is that? I hate that they keep putting like one massive outlier in the tier 1s, but again, I'm not playing tiers, so I guess I won't bitch about it.
Durant, Booker, Edwards, Siakam.
That is Edwards for me, but like I don't have him, so that seems weird.
It's Siakam for me, but honestly, I wouldn't care which name I took. It would probably be pretty dependent on what I'm taking everywhere else, because I think every one of those guys are pretty similar.
Yep.
Kyrie, Maxey, Kawhi, Harden, and George.
Kyrie. No, it's Maxey. I'm a liar. Maxey.
That is going to be Maxey by 0.4 of a point for me.
That's fun.
This next one is quite easy. Towns, Gobert, Turner, Middleton, Hart, and Portis.
If it's not Middleton, I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, Middleton by a mile. Tier 5, Nurk, Beal, Tobias Harris, Zubats, DiVincenzo, Conley, and PJ Washington.
Beal.
Yeah, I got Beal by quite a bit here. And too much of him again, so let's hope they win. Final tier.
I could have used it the other day, which is ironic as a Timberwolves fan, but I had some lineups that were the absolute nuts with like Beal, Booker, and just nothing. Absolutely nothing happened.
DraftKings would be better if they didn't have a salary cap.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That's a statement. All right, Brooke Lopez, Kelly Oubre, OG Anunoby, Russell Westbrook, Isaiah Hartenstein, Aaron Nesmith, Kyle Lowry, Pat Bev.
Brooke Lopez.
Yes. Brooke Lopez. Agreed. I am pretty close with Beverly and Neesmith, actually, but it's still Lopez for me. Well, we have taken a lap through some of the pay up options for today. We went through tiers as we normally do, and now at 12:22 Eastern Time on this lovely Sunday, I ask you, Eric, who is the exotic play of the day? That's what I want to know. Who you got?
My word. Should actually check who I have the most exposure to amongst white people.
You mean exotic people?
Yeah. What a normal way to start your morning every single time.
Weird way to say that, man. Oh no, I don't want mine to be mine.
I don't either, but it is what it is.
Wow, the choices today are...
This is bleak.
I only have one option.
Yep.
Oh no, we're taking the same guy, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how it's not TJ McConnell at 4K. The price keeps dropping. I have to click on TJ McConnell in some lineups. We're getting too much relief. It fits too well. The game environment is out of control. You're playing TJ McConnell, exotic play of the night.
Well, as I look down my list of exposures at this moment, if I don't take the 34% that I have of TJ McConnell, the next eligible option that I can tell is 4% to Luka Doncic, and then no one, I think.
What? I have some Zubats in my life. I have like 12%. Nothing crazy, but
I don't have a single share.
Wow. Well, you friend.
I have a Grayson Allen share right now.
Is he alive?
He's questionable at least.
Yeah. Eric Gordon, he was the nutties. If you found yourself some Eric Gordon, congratulations. Go ahead and pass go. He's up to 4K now, but I guess he was 4K last slate. I just didn't have him, and would have been nice. Would have been nice. Just 34 minutes out of the atmosphere, even with Royce starting. So that's nifty.
Well, I'm going to team up with you here. TJ McConnell, come on down. You, sir, are the white of the night.
God.
Man, I don't want it at all.
Nope.
Sure don't.
Nope.
Sure don't.
Nope.
Well, we talked a little bit about the exotic plays that we can find. We talked a little bit about the pay up options that we have. I'm trying to kill time to pull up the fact that we do still have the promo code DOUBLE. If you want to sign up, I didn't know if it was done already, and I didn't want to start the read before I found out, and I couldn't get to the schedule doc fast enough. The promo code is DOUBLE, $5 for the MLB lineup generator. Perfect way to get started on the MLB side. We generate thousands upon thousands of lineups. We curate them. We get rid of everything that we think stinks. We present the rest to you. If you like it, click save. If you don't, click discard. Very simple. You can pick contrarian lineups, chalky lineups, balanced lineups. You can lock players and swap players. Whatever you're looking to do, export up to 20 via CSV. It's the easiest tool we have to use. And your worst case scenario, you buy it, you use it for a week, you hate it, you cancel, you're only out that $5. I think it's the easiest thing that you should do. Get premium Discord, hop in, come chat with us a little bit about baseball. It's the perfect time to come join us on the MLB side. So link in chat or in the description, $5 using the promo code DOUBLE. Who are the GPP plays that you're looking at for today? I got a couple guys that I'm massively over the field on. I'm curious if we're overlapping at all.
Okay. Starting our little tour of Milwaukee, we have Portis, we have Middleton. They're all pretty damn chalky. I think Patrick Beverly, I just don't find it possible to get away from a lot of pieces from this game. TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin. We're just going to play a lot of these value pieces. It's the best game environment on this slate by a pretty noticeable margin. 216, I still think is a little bit low, but won't be betting it by any means. We have 213 for Minnesota Phoenix, and then sub 210s for this Knicks and Philly game, LAC Dallas. But I just play a lot of those value pieces and kind of rotate through some of them. I think Isaiah Hartenstein's pretty interesting too. At the center position, 5,500. Again, you said you had no other exotic plays, but there's at least a chance that we get some type of limited Mitchell Robinson here in this one where he's questionable. I assume that he ends up playing, but like there's no reason that they have to utilize him for, as many minutes as necessary. So I think Isaiah Hartenstein has a potential for 32 plus minutes of run. We saw 30 and 26 the last two. But again, if Mitchell Robinson is dinged up and he's only able to play 18-ish, 20-ish minutes, you're getting the rest of that going to Hartenstein here. It's obviously a very difficult matchup. There's tons of ways that this goes south on you against Embiid, but potential for massive minutes upside, somebody that I think I'm willing to make a little bit of a stand with as well, mainly because, I mean, if Daniel Gafford's going to be pulling 21, 22% of ownership, I love Embiid. Might as well get some Hartenstein to go with it.
Oh. So Embiid is my most exposed guy over the field. Give me 1 second.
Also, Mike Conley. Why do I have 48% Mike Conley? I don't want 48% Mike Conley.
I would not want 48% Mike Conley either, but that dude I have not gotten right in a bit. So ignoring Embiid, who I think everybody would be very happy to be over the field on. Aaron Nesmith is my current dude. Just filling up the stat sheet. He hits everything. He doesn't really hit anything in like, he doesn't go out there and drop like 25, but every time I open up his box score, it's like, oh, he had 11, 6, 5, 2, and 3 or something stupid. And it's like, okay, we can sneak our way to a decent value potentially. Last time out,
43 minutes.
43 minutes last time out, 13 points, 8 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals, and a block. He had 35 fantasy points. If Aaron Nesmith scores 35 fantasy points today, I'm very happy. He's shooting guard, small forward. I only have him in for 37 minutes. Could easily play 5 more. And I don't think there's downside to his minutes barring injury. So he's a guy that I'm getting a pretty big stand on. And because of his position and price, I think he's just really flexible for what I'm trying to do here. Bradley Beal, I'm 2Xing. Jaden McDaniels, once again, I'm more than 2Xing. I only have him for 35 minutes in a competitive matchup that could be upwards of 40. Middleton is a big stand. And then the guy that I'm most curious about that we haven't talked about yet, where do you stand on Daniel Gafford today? Because he has had an up and down series. And currently, I'm 2Xing him. I went 23 minutes. He could basically play any amount of time today, and I'd believe it.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I think Brook Lopez, it's probably easiest to trim Brook Lopez. So what I think the difficult part working through lineups here with Milwaukee Indy is like, it feels like 5 or 6 pieces of that game in just about every single lineup. It's the third game up here. And so for me, I'm just basically taking the boom bust tool. I'm overlaying it, looking at the ownership relative to, like where am I willing to trim ownership? And I think one of the ways that a lot of people are doing that is just like, I don't think Brook Lopez is going to end up as popular as pretty much any of those other pieces in that game, which kind of has me interested in going towards him. Talked about it's Hartenstein, Embiid, the guy that we're both paying up for, and he's currently half of my line. It's Mitchell Robinson out, so I was fucking right. God damn it.
Wait, I don't have that.
Mitchell Robinson out.
Embiid. I didn't get that notification.
Mitchell Robinson.
Oh, there it is.
Out
listed
Sunday.
as out. All right. Well, not great timing. Let's hope. Never mind.
That sucks. I wanted all the Hartenstein, but whatever.
I didn't get. I only got the. There it is. It just finally went through. I only got the Embiid alert. So when I looked down, it was just like, oh, I don't care about this. All right. Well, let's talk through it then. Obviously we feel better about Hartenstein's minutes, but what do we do with Precious Achiuwa?
That's the next guy. I'm pulling up all the prices for these guys, and
he's 3,300.
Oh God. Oh God.
And he played
has to
10
play.
minutes.
Has to.
Oh yeah, he's 100% going to be on the floor. I want to say that the minutes went well when he played too. I'm going to pull that up right now. So they played on the 25th, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so Precious played a rotation at the end of the second quarter. 3 minutes and 16 seconds, they were +2. And then he played two separate, very quick rotations.
+2.
Hartenstein picked up 2 fouls in 39 seconds in the fourth quarter. So another 7 minutes. He was +6 for the game. He overlapped with Embiid for probably half of his playing time. So let's think it through. We ended up getting 26 minutes out of Hartenstein. Now, obviously, the first half was a little foul trouble-y, and then he picked up those two and had to eat those minutes. I assume that second rotation from Precious for 3 minutes would have just been Hartenstein staying out there if he didn't pull up those two.
Yep.
So thinking something like 29 minutes for Hartenstein.
Sounds right. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go 32-16 and just see how much I get of each in that. Like, I think probably I'm over projecting Hartenstein, but what I'm most curious of is if I put in Precious for 16 minutes, just kind of putting his rates together. Because
I think he's going to fly off the page.
Yeah, this is gonna get scary.
Yeah, I'm pulling their rates now for like when Mitchell Robinson or when.
What's so annoying about this is that Milwaukee Indy game. There's going to be so many pieces that you can mix and match, and it's like if you're going to be holding hands with like 40% owned Precious Achiuwa here now, he's a 0.88 fantasy point per minute guy. I'm going to put him at 0.8 here for just the hell of it. While I'm just doing it fast. 16 minutes, 0.8 matchup, terrible. I'm going to just see how much I get.
Yeah, I'm running all the rates and everything right now, so I don't like this.
Usage, like nothing, but 15%. That's easy, so we'll just do that.
Yeah, he's a ghost out on the floor when he's playing alongside the rest of these guys.
20% rebound rate. Again, it's nice that all of these are like square numbers and add more funds. So thank you to them for making it easy here.
He does rebound a lot less than you would expect compared to like his normal rates. I think Josh Hart just kills this dude when he's out there.
I'm going to just put actually Josh Hart. Where did it go?
All right, I think I have Precious rates right now. I went at 15 minutes. I'm mostly uninterested. Decent value for sure. Not a guy that I think I'm going to get a ton of. But my problem is I don't know what to do. I have 4 minutes left to be allocated. Here's the real question. Do you think Hartenstein and Precious Achiuwa split all 48 minutes?
That's what I just did. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, we've seen them play next to each other earlier, but there was no Bojan yet who is going to play.
They won't run Jericho Sims, right?
That's what I'm worried about. Honestly, like it's one of those things too. If Precious comes out and doesn't play well, it's like, who gives a shit? If it's Precious for the first half and it's Jericho Sims who eats up a couple of minutes, for me, this is just like, I'm going to put Hartenstein in for 32 minutes and jam him. I'm not going to probably get to that much Precious.
For right now, I have 29 minutes to Hartenstein, 16 to Precious, and then 3 to Jericho Sims.
That's probably the right way to do it, but
makes Hartenstein look really good. It doesn't make Precious look that great.
Yeah, I'm going to play a ton. This sucks because this was kind of the whole thinking of the play to begin with, where you start to make these stands and it's like, what happens if we have Mitchell Robinson limited? I didn't think, oh, what if we have Mitchell Robinson out? That's great.
Especially when it was like, he's warming up with the intent to play. Oh, by the way, he's not playing.
Unbelievable. I would like...
Oh, I'm burping that bourbon now. It's starting to hurt.
Hell yeah, brother. Put a little hair on that chest of yours. Let's go fucking 32 minutes for Hartenstein and just jam him. Good times. Good times to be alive.
We got the starting lineups: Brunson, DiVincenzo, Hart, Anunoby, Hartenstein, Maxey, Lowry, Oubre, Harris, Embiid.
Yep. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Achiuwa over Hartenstein foul trouble. Well, I mean, we could have that conversation with Joel Embiid every game, like for the rest of his career. So, like, I don't know what you want me to do. It's a sub 6K center who, again, his minutes, they have to go up in terms of your projection for the fact that he doesn't have the main primary backup center there, where if it's like torn between, oh, should we keep him out on the floor or, give Jericho Sims a 3-minute rotation or something else, they might just keep Hartenstein out on the floor. So like for me, I'm going to just play lots of Isaiah Hartenstein probably because of how much I like Milwaukee and how much I like getting to like some of those ancillary pieces from Indiana and Milwaukee. It just makes it so hard for me to say I want to play 3,300 Precious, knowing that there is a massive minutes downside and that the ownership is going to come up pretty high. Like I'm normally in the camp where he's going to be under-owned and I would jam, but like I think that's kind of a mistake today.
Man, this just got tricky. I'm figuring Precious ends up around 10% owned, and I think that's fine.
That's it?
Yeah.
I bet he ends up higher.
I mean, we're talking about 23 minutes before lock. I don't think he grades out all that well. Like, all right, here's a real question for you. Maxi Kleba or Precious Achiuwa today?
Precious.
Okay. I don't think they're all that different. And Maxi's unowned.
Interesting.
Josh Green or Precious Achiuwa? Because Josh Green's unowned at 3,400.
The thing is, like, there's what I would say is that I think the right tail for Precious is more appealing.
Sure.
Than what either of those two are, because we kind of have those set roles. We don't know with Precious, and that's the intriguing part of playing him. And I think a lot of people are going to say, oh, 3,300, 28-20 for a split, just giving him the same Mitchell Robinson minutes. And I don't think that's probably the correct way to do it.
Man,
seeing what
scary.
else people are doing.
This is scary.
Stupid.
This is very... Do we have any updates yet?
Yeah, we just had it go through. But we don't have the ownership show up.
Oh,
our projection was
ownership would be
15.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We went what?
14 and change.
Okay. All right. Feels good. I mean, that was sort of what I just walked myself through and we walked through. So like that feels good. What did we go to on Hartenstein? Do you have that in front of you?
30.
Okay.
Looks
great. I went 29. I feel good about that.
Yep. I put him at 30. Well, I had him a little bit higher, I think, than you did. Yeah, 31.5.
Really curious to see what that that ownership's going to look like. But I really do think something in that like 5 to 10% range is going to be all we see.
Okay. If that's the case, I'm going to be okay getting to a little bit. There's a part of me that just wants to not have him in, period. But
oh, wait, we have, what did you say we had Precious at?
14.
Fantasy points?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I meant minutes.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
I was like, this looks like it says 18 to me.
No.
Okay. So I'm gonna now that I see our minutes, my first run through it, I'm not gonna give those minutes that I had to Sims, which is going to change my outlook on Precious. I think he's going to be a lot more than 10% owned. If we're gonna give him somewhere in that 18 to 19 minute range, I think we're gonna see Precious now be 25 to 30. Obi Toppin, okay. Obi Toppin is 3,900. Precious is 3,300. I think we probably see in that like 25 range.
I mean,
because he's got the power forward.
Right. In Toppin feels like he's pretty capped as far as what the minutes can be. I know he performs better with, he's playing 5. He's playing at the 5, but like, I don't want to be jamming him relative to some of the other options in that game. I mean, it's just really like how much of that game can you handle? Because I think Nembhard's a good play. I think McConnell's a good play. I think Siakam's a good play. I think Turner's a good play. I'm just going through Indy, Halliburton, and then Milwaukee. You can play everybody. So it's all relative to that game environment and how some of those other pieces mixing and matching do. I do think Precious, the scary thing is, you get 2 quick ones on Hartenstein. He walks into 18, 20 minutes instantly, and then has a potential for more if he plays well. Go
ahead. Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, you're okay. No, go ahead.
Who's the best sub 4K player? I think we have three choices now.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Toppin for me still.
Okay. So we got Toppin at 20% owned. We've got Derek Jones Jr. at 20% owned. And I'm just going to go ahead and assume we get Precious somewhere in that neighborhood. You think Toppin's the guy you want the most there?
I think so. I'm just so fascinated. This is just like a game theory exercise in some ways too, where I
Yep.
mean we're gonna go. You, people also are gonna look at this as you got it right or you got it wrong, and I don't think that's the right way of looking at this. It's like you have to like make a calculated decision based on the information that's in front of you and just kind of like live with it, regardless and independent of how he plays. And he's projected for 14. He's the best projected play sub 3,900 other than Derek Jones. So sub 3,700. But like, I do like him more than AJ Green. I'm not going to play any AJ Green today.
Same.
Unless he's in the starting lineup, obviously. Maxi Kleba,
Yeah.
I think, is less appealing than Precious is for sure. I think Precious is probably the guy that I think looks better, but Kleba, there's probably 30 plus minute upside at some point here too.
Not after last game. I played a
Well,
ton of him, and it was barely out there.
I know it was stupid. I mean, part of that is like kind of need somebody on Zoo at the moment. Like Zoo is getting after it again, and you can't really have Kleba out there for too many Zoo minutes anymore. Like that's I think the worry that I have for them is that Zoo's played so well and for all intents and purposes dominated that first half. And then they were able to make some adjustments and slow it down a little bit. But Derek Lively probably steps into more minutes if it doesn't get off to a good start for Daniel Gafford. But 26 minutes for Gafford, they just had to have him on the floor. I am very, very worried about what I'm going to do with Precious here in the next 15 minutes. Because right now I have 0, putting him in for 16 minutes, but I probably should take that up and get to some.
We just got an ownership update. I don't think this is going to be the final one. He's at 10%.
Yeah,
Feels a little light.
Low. Yeah, it feels light. I feel like we're going to get there and he's going to be 30.
I don't think we're going to see that much of a quick turnaround for him just because of the timing of the news and the fact that it's a Sunday. I think we can get a little bit softer of a play here.
Okay.
But I'm going to start running a sim now just in case we don't get another ownership update here.
Okay.
I'll get an idea of what's coming out. Have you run the contest generator by any chance?
I did.
Do you know what he came out in terms of pool exposure?
He came out for 17% for me.
Okay. I think that makes some sense. Oh, by the way, guys, be very ready for late swaps tonight. We don't know what that Milwaukee starting lineup's going to be. You got to be ready at like 6:30, depending on who they run out there, because this is a bit of a crapshoot in who that fifth dude is going to be, or if they mix things up. Because I don't have a great feel for it, and you're gonna have to be ready because they can go a couple different directions.
I'm rerunning pool exposure as well without my stuff in it. I'm gonna see what we get here one more time.
I am actually running a sim right now, so
okay.
I'll have some sort of outlook in the very near future, which should be fun. Do you have any other GPP plays? We're obviously not.
11.7% pool exposure here, 10.3% ownership. So
okay.
GPP plays. Anything from Milwaukee, anything from Indiana, just everything in that spot. It's pretty self-explanatory. I do think Zubats has been pretty effective here, but now with Hartenstein 5,500, I'm projecting about the same as him and Brook Lopez. I'm just going to go to some Hartenstein here. I'm worried that people are also going to be jamming him. Whatever at this point in time, I'm okay getting to. There's just there's a minutes upside that goes beyond 30 here, and at 5,500, I don't have to think too hard about that one. Are we just saying Kawhi Leonard's dead?
I think that whole Clippers team is dead.
Okay.
I have 6% ownership to the Clippers.
Seems low.
I don't like it, but I just I don't know how you pick between them, you know?
No, James Harden's the most intriguing. out of the three. Zubats is the most appealing on the team to me, but I don't really like him relative to a lot of centers. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been pretty pro Nurkic needs to be on the floor throughout that series. And even though he hasn't nuked other than game two, it's still something that I believe. Zubats has been awesome, but relative to cheaper options now in Brook Lopez and Hartenstein, I don't really like it. I guess Jaden McDaniels, we can run that one back to positionality. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is 4,300, pulling quite a bit of ownership. You're not Jaden McDaniels, 4,600 today?
Oh, I am very.
Yeah, I'm
2.5
I'm
times the field.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, I have 20%, so I'm just going through
I can't
my
quit
old.
him.
Yeah. Can't quit. Yeah. Now I'm going to be able to give you updated stuff. So this is good.
Perfect.
This is good.
Do you want to answer a couple super chats?
Yeah, let's do it.
Michael McKinney, 5 favorite tournament plays on FanDuel.
FanDuel. Okay. Nothing that I did for you on FanDuel before the show is applicable in any way, shape, or form anymore. So I will at least tell you plays that I thought looked good before. I have no Tobias Harris on DK on FanDuel. I think he is a top play at 6,200. Patrick Beverley is 6K, pulling tons of ownership. I like getting to Patrick Beverley still at that kind of a number, which is absolutely insane to say out loud. Jalen Brunson is nearly 10K, but like we've got a 12-2 Luka. That is pretty damn wild. And Obi Toppin is 4,600 over there. I thought that he was a phenomenal play for FanDuel if he wasn't going to be pulling much ownership. One of the more positively leveraged players earlier in the day still is. So Obi Toppin 4,600. How about you?
Just taking a look at the FanDuel boom bust tool, looking for anything that stands out, because I don't think Achua matters too much here. We do have him 16% optimal, 18 or 8.5% owned, so probably a little bit of love that you can get there, but he is 4,100 at that point. Nemhard is the highest leverage play that we have at Stochastic on FanDuel for today. Bobby Portis is the highest optimal guy, but he's also the most over-owned. It looks like Tobias Harris actually is probably knocking on the door of like the best overall play. Bradley Beal at 7,700 is 29% optimal, 23% owned. That's sort of like what's at the top of our optimal table. Tito Wilson, no love for Boyan? No.
Zero. And I'm truly indebted to that man for the rest of my life. So if I have none, you should have none.
And then Torrey Hall, DK2v2, which you can check at stochastic.com and use the player compare tool, which is completely free. 1v1s and 2v2s. Everyone can use it. See projections, ownership, optimal rates, boom, bust, and more. All you have to do is go to stochastic.com and use the player compare tool. Again, totally free. Embiid and Neesmith or Halliburton and Turner. Not close. Embiid and Neesmith.
Embiid, Neesmith.
I think that's it for Super Chats.
Holy shit, do I have Andrew Nemhard in my life? Holy crap. This is very uncomfortable.
Gotta love it.
Plays one time, plays 40 minutes, and everybody loses their minds.
So you have a lot of Andrew Nemhard?
Yes.
Would you be willing to call Andrew Nemhard your nuke of the night? I don't know. He's not mine. Is he yours?
Do we have the nuke? Do we have the nuke video?
I don't know.
Mike? Maybe. There it is. There it comes.
Kaboom. There goes your ding dong.
I was waiting for it.
Ding dong gone. All right, I just finished off my sim. This should be brutal.
It is a whole thing that we have going.
I'm afraid to look at it. Who's nuking for you?
I think we gotta make it something from that game because I just have so much of it. It's pretty impossible to get away from still. I mean, yeah, Precious exists here now. By the way, I have 20% of him. I'm fine with that. I don't know. Sometimes you get in the habit of saying, oh, I need to have a million of this guy, or I need to have none of him. And sometimes you can just like have what you think the field is going to have, and that is what it is. But there's a part of me, friends. There's a part of me that feels as though you still need to be jamming Patrick Beverley here in this spot. And it's awful. It's no good. But the one thing that hasn't been there for him in some of these smash spots until last game, of course, some of the usage. We have upside coming down the pipeline here eventually for, again, if Pat Connaughton ends up sharing the floor with him, if it ends up being Brook Lopez, I mean, Chris Middleton is going to have to do absolutely everything, but I can't in good conscience give you like the most owned dude on the entire slate to be your nuke, but I guess Patrick Beverley kind of is too. I'll go Chris Middleton then. Screw it. I'm just going to feel much, much better about Middleton over all other things. Shooting guard, small forward on FanDuel for people. That's fantastic for you. On DraftKings, small forward only. Don't really care. Sub 8K Chris Middleton with no Giannis and no Damian Lillard. I'll go down with the ship. Nuke of the night.
I mean, I can't get mad about it. I have a ton of him. Not going to choose him just because you did, but he is my most exposed player right now. I'm going to go nuke of the night, Joel Embiid. I want everybody to join me. Well, I want none of you to join me, but I would like you guys to join me here. He's 20% owned. I have 66%. I think he's the best pay up option you can get to today, even including Luka Doncic based on salary. I think we get to 2-2. I think he's in a great spot. They're going to send a lot of doubles. Once Precious is out there, I think they're going to be looking to get the ball out of Joel Embiid's hands. He's been really quick to shoot. He's been making his decisions a lot faster during this series. So I'm really curious to see if they start sending extra help quickly and just making the ball not be in his hands, not allowing him to shoot, or at the very least, sending that help the moment he puts the ball on the floor, which might be a little bit more realistic. But either way, if he's going to stack up some assists, that works for me too. I'm going to get Joel Embiid. He is the nuke of the night. Got to shout out Prize Picks. You see it on the screen. You see it on the banner. You see it behind Eric's head. Prize Picks is the sponsor. Get up to $100 on your first deposit by signing up using the link in the description. Eric puts out Prize Picks every day. I put out a Prize Picks video Monday through Friday. We have plenty of Prize Picks content. You could use Odd Shopper as well if you're looking for more plays. Put up to 6 on one card, 25x on that payout. I love it. I love playing on Prize Picks. It's been so much fun. I use Odd Shopper constantly for it. It's been profitable for me the entire time. I think you guys should join me. And they send you very comfortable clothes from time to time, which I really enjoy. So shout out to Prize Picks. Sign up using the link in chat or the one in the description of this video. Josh of Los Angeles, any extra love for OG with Robinson out? No, I look at them the same.
They need a center on the floor. It is Joel Embiid.
Yeah. And then DC24, Eric said no Tobias on DraftKings. Josh, how much do you have?
8. I have 2 shares in 50.
I have 8%.
Yeah, I have 4%.
So not a ton here. Not a ton. How much Gafford do I have now?
That's a great question.
Too much. Gotta walk that back a hair. If
also,
we get another
2
ownership
of 50.
update, it's not going to matter to me because I'm not going to rerun anything at this point, but I'm just curious if we got another one and it jumped to Chua. Yeah, we did get one 3 minutes ago. Precious jumped to, nope, still at 10%. Okay, I'm comfortable with where I have this then.
I'm so fascinated to see where that lands. That's so wild.
I gotta walk Gafford. Uh-oh. Am I still on?
Hello?
Okay. I pressed the lock button on my keyboard, so I immediately just closed everything on my screen. I didn't know if that closed off everything that I was doing. I've got too much Gafford.
We don't run that well. We don't run that well.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Yeah, I guess I'm comfortable. Well, I'm as comfortable as I'm going to get with my current exposures.
Yeah, I feel abnormally calm until this game starts and I see Precious Achiuwa play 28 minutes and everybody who jammed him then has access to Luka and we're all fucked. So
I have 36% of Precious.
Did you get any more Luka after you got to more Precious?
It's a great question that I don't know the answer to. Let me upload these lineups and let's take a look. And we can talk about our fades.
Yep. Oh boy.
All right. I have... No, I didn't get more Luka. I actually got to Halliburton.
Wow.
Huh. Not like a lot, but like I had none and now I have the field.
Gotcha. I have 0%. I have 0% Derek Jones Jr. So that if you wanted to know the fade, there you go. 0.
I have 28.
Okay. So
I'm basically right with the field on all of these value guys. Nemhard, I have 30%. He's 30%. Basically, I have 20 of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 34 of McConnell, 25 of Derek Jones Jr. And then I am taking the stand on Precious because I do think he probably ends up a hair under-owned just based on the news coming out when it did. We have 3 minutes to go until we're locked here, folks.
Yeah.
And I just realized now that I never got a mimosa, so that makes me sad. Who are you fading?
Yeah, so Derek Jones Jr. I'm playing some Josh Green in my life. 3,400. We saw 25 minutes for him. I think it's just going to be constant for mixing and matching. I mean, Derek Jones Jr.'s played good, played well, if you will, for Jason Kidd there in some spots, but Josh Green been getting mixed in here as well. And if they're going to get away from some Kleba, because they just choose to have more Gafford, some of these other guys out there, he's kind of been a Swiss Army knife for some different lineup iterations in the first two games. I think they found kind of what they were looking for in game two. Had to go back in game three to a true center because of Zoo, and I think they'll keep that going here. But some of these wings, man, with no THJ out there, that's kind of been opening up minutes here for, hot hand approach where, maybe it's Derek Jones Jr. closing, maybe it's Josh Green. We haven't seen a competitive finish here in the last two. So I think Josh Green pretty live at his rates. I mean, Derek Jones Jr. has never been an outrageously good fantasy producer. I feel all right taking some of the savings and trying to take some shots. Obviously, with this game being second up, it kind of makes it interesting as far as like, hey, if I'm going to take some lower owned shots on guys throughout that one specifically before the Milwaukee Indy game, I can kind of play the chalk there and not have to think twice about it. So kind of like getting to a little bit of a lower owned Josh Green as a result.
Amber Heard play of the day, our final thing before we get out of here. We just got to put it on record. We have 90 seconds.
Isaiah Hartenstein. There are lots of ways this goes absolutely horrendous for me, but I have tons.
How much is tons?
I have
16%.
42%.
Bobby Portis once again for me. I have 18%, and that's because I forced it. I would have had 0 if I didn't make any sort of manual manipulation. The ownership is high. He could also play 40 minutes today because they don't have their two best players. So I get it. I don't love it, but I have a lot more of the Milwaukee side. I've got a lot more of the Chris Middleton piece. I've got Patrick Beverley, and then we'll see what we end up swapping to if we get AJ Green in the starting lineup. Depending on what the starting lineup looks like, maybe we create a little bit more value. But it's a fun slate, man. I'm excited to go watch Knicks Philly. I'm glad it's the first game. It's the one I want to watch right now and really get it started.
Yeah, me too. I wish Kawhi was full blast. I think Dallas LAC would be more interesting for it. Milwaukee, everybody's dead. And then I care the most about the Timberwolves. So I'm going to probably watch basketball all day. Again, going to be a very helpful husband around the household today.
Who wins each game?
Let's go Philly. I think it goes 2-2 back to the Garden. That'll be fun. Dallas, Indy, Minnesota sweeps.
Philly, Dallas, Milwaukee,
ooh,
Minnesota sweeps.
Taking Dame off the floor.
You throw everything at it and pray for the best today, and it comes out. Since Indy doesn't have a good defense, there's a path where the Bucks can just be hot.
That'd be great.
So,
more basketball.
Guys, we locked. I hope I uploaded my lineups. It would be sad if I didn't. Good luck to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Shout out to Prize Picks for being the sponsor. I don't think I said Prize Picks correctly there, but you know what I meant. We'll talk to you later, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning. Peace.